such an asshole.
Sexpert. She's a sexpert. We have a sexpert. Sexpert. You don't get it. About as valid as sports analyst and other people who should. Oh, maybe I should go to Rumble. All right, let's go. Now I have to preclude or pre-say or premise this. I am not a BDSM expert. I did date the dominatrix at a bondage club, not knowing she was the dominatrix. I've told the story before. She was a bartender up front at this place, and in the back was the bondage go-go night. And I only knew her as the bartender, and years had gone by. And I said, "Oh, do you remember this gal I dated her?" And my friend's like, "You dated the dominatrix?" I'm like, No, I dated the bartender." And then he told me, "Yeah, that gal who was the bartender was the dominatrix." I'm like, "What?" And I thought she was almost church going. And once again, Cappy got screwed. Screwed in life. I looked her up. Oh, woo. Not good woo. Like, whoa. She did end up going after a bank. She broke Cappy's little heart. Well, not really. She was a nice gal. But Father Time should be arrested on DV charges, domestic aggression charges. He won that fight with her. But yeah, she ended up going out with some banker. I'm about to become a banker. I'm like a little banker. I'm a young banker. Oh, look at me now. Hooah. It's my friend Charlie. Hey, Cappy. Oh, I should get back to this. So this guy's asking me about girls with bondage. I don't know. I'm not against. I'm more frilly, French maid, lacy stuff. The nurse, maybe a little bit of a theme. I'm more just, put on some sexy lingerie and I'm happy. I don't have high standards. But it was never really, I don't like being tied down, and I don't really want to tie you down either. A girl like, "Well, can you hit me like in your ass?" No, just like, that's where it gets. No, I'm not gonna do that. Hey, Cappy, long-time listener, maybe first-time writer. God, gotta put tensioning. I'm going to have Vince at Masculine Geeks and Troy Francis, if they are kind enough to do videos on this. I want their own opinion on it because I'm not an expert. I went and looked up a couple things. I had my hunches, but I'm like, I better inform myself and give you some reports. But you probably want someone who's in the field themselves, and I'm going to assume they're going to agree with my general premise. But let's go through it here. Hey, Cappy, long-time listener, maybe first-time writer. Kind of want you to do a video of you reading this out loud, helping me get this out there, not looking for a consult as much. Name your price. Hey, and there's going to be people in the BDSM community that tell you. You will guess I'm a guy. I have something you might call weird sexual taste. I would not say it's weird. It's kind of calm. I'd say having a foot fetish is weirder than this. That foot stuff is weird, man. That just like, ugh. There's the line. That's the line. That's the gateway drug to farm animals. Nope, not doing the foot stuff. Although you may have heard all of it from Vince at the Masculine Geeks. I'm into BDSM, and I'm the dominant type. That means I'm not the guy that goes to a dominatrix to get spanked. I'm the type who likes to dominate girls. I like handcuffing them, tying them up, spanking them, torturing, tormenting them, and abusing them, dominating them, sexually exploiting them, forcing them to orgasm. Also, well, what the hell's the point otherwise? I'm confused. Is the whole world like, is it taboo to have orgasms? Tell me if I'm wrong here. Tell me if I'm wrong. I know that they say he or she who has the most toys wins. I think he or she who had the most orgasms wins. I don't know. I know there's some in society, I won't say who, they're kind of anti-orgasm. Won't say who. I don't know. I'm a friend of the orgasm. You know, friends of the orgasm. That'd be a nice Dungeons and Dragons brotherhood. Friends of the orgasm. Also humiliating them and degrading them, all with their consent, of course. Okay, yeah. And they like it in return too. I find it takes a special kind of girl to be into the same stuff, even though I'm usually able to sniff them out. I have handcuffed multiple girls, some of which in public. Parks make a good setting for that, some of which in broad daylight, some of which is not secluded, some of which in not secluded parts of parks. But there was this one girl that stood up. Oh, here comes the one girl. She showed up in my drinking buddy circles. And one time when we were taking a bus ride to our respective places together, she indicated interest. I disclosed some of the things I'm into, and she seemed to be the reciprocating type. And we made a point to definitely get together. So next thing, I'm at her place and she's in handcuffs. I'm also a big fetishist for skirts. This is not, I'm kind of into BDSM. And I like it when women wear skirts. I'm like, yo, you disgusting. How can you live? Like, Coach Greg Adams is into girls with the pencil skirt. Hey, I'm into girls with skirt. What, do you want them in pants and sweatpants and Crocs? So far, I don't think I think you're fine. I think these are healthy interests. I've handcuffed her, tied her with a rope, spanked her, put chain nipple clamps on her nipples, poured hot molten candle wax on her breast and ass, choked her in her face. See, I gotta be real careful. Even though this is all consent and it's fun and you know, YouTube is a second grade school mom from the 80s, not now. They just have sex with their students. Oh, the public schools is such a nightmare. I told you they were evil. I told you people, the teachers were evil. Oh, you didn't listen. Oh, they just care about kids. Some a little bit more than others, I see. Called her a slur and a hewer. She had barely any boobs, by the way. Okay. I also wanted to put a cigarette out on a girl since I'd never done that before. And so she has a small burn mark on her left breast to remind me of her, to remind her of me. I know I'm a sadistic fuck. There's worse. There's a lot worse, man. And as long as she's okay with it, yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm unaware of BDSM. I've been adjacent, and you know, some people like that. That's cool. That's fine. I've done stuff like this to multiple girls, but none have been as receptive as her. Well, here's where I'm a little confused. Either they're receptive or not, or you mean they're really into it, is what you're saying. Would it surprise you to learn that she's bipolar? Not particularly. Diagnosed taking pills, even though some of the other girls I've abused in this way. Is it really abuse if they agree to it? Maybe they had fun. Even though some of the other girls I've abused in this way may have also been mental, although undiagnosed, does it even make a difference? Not putting your dick in crazy was somewhat of a novel idea to me at the time, but you really avoid it if you're into the things that I am? I made it very clear to her that this was only casual sex, but I found out she was catching feelings. That's a normal woman right there. Overall, we were on again, off again, fuck buddies, and I ended up calling it off 3 times, with the third time being the charm. Her being bipolar brought me a few troubles and was what caused me to pull away when I did. Basically, I could only tolerate her mouth when it was gargling on an appendage of mine, with her on her knees and her handcuffs behind her back. Unfortunately, my meager arsenal of BDSM toys at the time did not yet include a ball gag, although I had a good fortune of not having my tires flash when I first called it off. There were threats, the bitching, the moaning, the whining, complaining, threats of self-deletion on her part. Okay, and implications that she may be pregnant. Yep. Who was it? I think it is Thinking Ape that had his ex-girlfriend. Yep, that's all modern day par for the course. That if I may interject, okay, and that I don't even think that has anything to do with bipolar. What guy here hasn't had that? Honestly, I haven't had the self-deletion. No, I did. That was the Taiwanese princess who got fat. You park down there. whose mom did not like the poor white boy. I wonder whatever happened to that family. Oh God, what a miserable family. Um, yeah, that I don't even think is bipolar. I mean, it's messed up. It's mentally ill. But and here's the thing: is the mental illness in general is so abused by people who don't want to take on responsibility. I would say 80% of people under 50, I would say have a fake diagnosis. They're faking it because they want some kind of government aid, disability. They want to avoid. I had one girl like claim that she was anorexic. Like, no, she's just a mean bitch. There's just some mean, evil people out there. When I got to decide, like, again, I've brought this up before, and it was good to see Croy at the Turd Flinging Monkey Show bring this up too. He's like, and I've made this point. Where's the mental disorder where the girl just becomes really nice and sweet and doting and caring? Where's that? Why does it always skew to people being dicks? Why is it every girl with bipolar or every girl whatever, they're all assholes? None of them are like, oh my God, no, sweetheart, seriously, you already gave me 3 blowjobs today. I don't need a 4th. Okay, well, I made you some extra cookies on top of the brownies you just made this morning. It never goes that way, which indicates to me people having a proclivity and a bias towards laziness. They're just lying about it. Like, if you are truly mentally ill, you can't control it. Okay, why are people super nice then half the time? It's because they're not mentally ill. They're assholes and cowards using mental illness as an excuse to excuse the shitty behavior. And so, especially today, and I'm going to assume you're in your 20s or 30s, she claims to be mentally ill. Okay, fine. Sky's blue. Whether she's got it or not, it doesn't matter. And that's not. Slashed tires, whining, complaining, moaning, threats of self-deletion, and implications she may be pregnant. Okay, welcome to everyday American woman 2023. Heck, even in my day. Not everyone, of course, but yeah, that's common. That's Tuesday. And then I would argue that has no reflection either on her mental illness or that she's into BDSM. I really don't. I don't think so. If anything, I was going to say this afterwards, but the people I did meet in the BDSM community were frankly way more mature, and they were honest, and it's like a motorcycle gang kind of where you're like, oh, look out, they're dangerous. No, they're some of the most honorable, noble guys. Don't piss them off, then they'll be dangerous. But a little kid is probably safer within a motorcycle gang than he is your average set of parents in America right now. Certainly the public schools. And I just, in my dealings, a handful of people are like, no, they seem pretty normal. In other words, it's just, another Trisha, I guess. Besides just me bragging how I've been able to degrade women and make them submit to my sexual fantasies, do you think this BDSM stuff is something that a few and very damaged women would be into? No, I don't think so. I think women are into it or not. And I'm going to get into, I think there's everybody, there's the curiosity, like, okay, I'm sure every girl would be like, oh, I wonder what it's like to be tied up in handcuffs. Ooh, isn't that fun? And then they find out it's not for them. There's some gals that are really into it, just like some guys are into classic cars, I guess. Some of them aren't. And so I don't think I'm going to rule early here. I don't think if you were to run a correlation between girls who are into BDSM and mental illness, I don't think you'd find a correlation. If anything, I'd say you probably find a negative correlation because you have to be somewhat intellectually honest with yourself about that to actually get into that, which requires a certain level of maturity. Or is there an Anastasia Steele hiding in everyone? I gotta look up Anastasia Steele. Anastasia Steele. Oh, the great. Okay, yeah. Yes, and yes. We'll get to that later. Hiding in every woman, waiting to be whipped into consciousness. You think you mean unconsciousness, Why is there no male equivalent of the dominatrix for women? Well, there is. Isn't that the? I've seen it. I've seen it at that bondage go-go night. Like, there are guys who want to be beat by the woman. So the door goes both ways. And why is whipping and spanking handcuff women not a successful business? Because women could find a guy to do that anytime. Not like guys, no, you got to pay me to do that. No, they could find a guy to do that. I mean, if there's sex at the end of it, the guy will do it. That's why it's not a successful business. Do you think it is a special type of woman? Do you think it's a special type of messed up woman that's into that stuff, or are they all messed up? No, I don't think it's a special type. Well, it's a special type of woman, but she's not messed up. I like mint chocolate chip ice cream. Some girls like bondage. Some girls like leather. Perfectly fine. And I don't think those women are messed up that do. Just because you like BDSM doesn't mean you're messed up. Or are they all messed up? Yeah, and yes. Yeah, all of them. But the BDSM doesn't make them any more messed up. Or maybe they all secretly want this, but most cucks aren't going to do it. Do you think it could be related to daddy issues? No, I don't think it's. I mean, yes, sure. 300 million people, 150 million of which are American women. Sure. Some right. They get it fine. Do you think it could be related to daddy issues? Maybe they weren't spanked when they were kids. Or what if they were? I think you're overanalyzing it. Some are into it, some aren't. Also, picture this ideal world, this utopia. What if we instituted this regime or social order where we not only mandated that women be thin, have long hair, be feminism? Okay, and already you're way off the deep end. And how you're going to infect? Here's what I love about utopias and dictatorships and all that. Like, you want to, like, the last guy I'd want to be is Vladimir Putin, not because of the war or anything. I don't want to tell people what to do. You want a pain in the ass it is to be a dictator? Okay, and what we gonna do? We're gonna make way. That sounds like a nightmare. But also mandate that they have to wear skirts and dresses all the time, and that we could at any moment pick them up, tie them up, and give them a good spanking. See, that's your fetish. No, that would not be ideal. Women would just be cattle then. And women, I know some people might disagree with you. Women are not things. Deep down inside, they are human beings. They try their best at times to act, oh, I didn't know that this degree wouldn't get me anywhere. Can you give me a student loan bailout? I'm a victim. Okay, I understand. But I do know women that I don't want to, I don't know, the idea of enslaving people, I find it detesting. Even in a fun, haha, like, no, I don't want to have some poor random girl that some guy could just come in and spank them. No. Now, if you find a girl that wants to role play that, fine. But no, that's not my ideal utopia. that is not it. How much more disciplined and better behaved would women be? I don't know if they would. I'm not a neuroscientist, but I'd imagine over time they would cease to have a personality. I know we're talking theoretics. I would not wish for that world. Absolutely not. I like your thoughts on this. Please name your price. So where is it? So, all right. So getting back, do you think there's a special type of messed up woman that's into this stuff? No. I think if you were to poll and I have the data, I forgot. I did look it up, and they went through with the 5 personality traits. And understand this is a psychological study. I think 85% of psychology is bullshit. They have a veracity problem right now. They cannot even replicate, I think it's only a third of the studies they can replicate the results of. This is not a valid discipline. This is not a valid field. It is definitely not a science. But for what it's worth, it was a 2009 study. They looked at people with BDSM, and they seemed fine. They seemed fine. They saw no correlation with any kind of mental illness or anything like that. As I said before, the people that I've talked in BDSM or BDSM adjacent, they seem well-adjusted people. They just like that. I think there's also a level of maturity you have to have if you're into that, because you are a lot of trust is involved. You have to be you're at their mercy. You got to assume they're going to unlock the handcuffs and everything and let you go home. So there's that. However, at the same time, there is the BDSM genre fetish wouldn't exist if there wasn't a demand for it and a sexual demand for it on both the part of men and women. And so now this gets into your Anastasia Steele, where for a while, dirty little secret, women have a raisoning fantasy, certain percentage. And here, one study says it's between 31 and 57. This one, this is the 2009 study. I'm sorry. This one shows 62% have a forcible bedroom fun time reasoning fantasy. And we can talk about what lurks deep in the heart of women, but even they don't know. I think women just, they don't, now keep in mind, they don't want some rando off the street doing it. When this fantasy comes, they're thinking Henry Cavill. Hang on, here goes the internet. All right, now we're back. They're thinking, I'm trying to think who a good looking guy. They're thinking Brad Pitt. They're thinking Russell Brand, who's more swarthy. Okay, we'll just go with him. All right, that they already like the guy, and they want the guy, and they ha play hard to get. Isn't that fun? Oh yeah, that's fun. Maybe that's why I don't like bondage. Like, look, if I got to tie you down, I'm not doing this, man. You're either showing up at my doorstep or not. I'm not chaining you up. It's just not happening. Now I'm thinking of actually chaining up a gal. I think if they like the guy, they that little, oh, take me. No, no, no. But deep down inside, yes, yes, yes. You saw that in the movies, Pussy Galore fighting James. Oh, every girl would fight James Bond, but inevitably they deep down inside. What was that? I don't care. I don't know. Don't give a damn. Not my problem. But yeah, I think there is, you wouldn't have anywhere between a third on the low end to 2/3 on the higher end of women admitting that. A significant percentage of women enjoy rough play. Fine. How does it come? Well, perhaps many years ago, Genghis Khan came through and grandma didn't really want, well, oh my God, Genghis. Oh, maybe I do. And they like a guy that pursues them and it shows determination and alpha traits. And so is it hardwired into biology after the Huns or the Romans came and had their way? And I don't know, maybe. Again, not a geneticist, but I don't care. The fact is, some gals like it. Nothing wrong with it. Cool. Is it that deep down inside some of them would like to have it, but their little beta boyfriend or the Democrat husband doesn't like really get in? Well, strong, independent girls, tell us what you want. Ha ha! Women telling men what they want. Oh, I should be a comedian. That was funny. Yeah, and I think the BDSM community, they're a little bit more clear, like, hey, yeah, all right. So there's a little bit, because you have to be. You can't just handcuff women. Oh, you're not into this. Oh, I thought you gave me the sign. Oh, no, I'm going to jail. I mean, you have to be. You have to be more mature and direct about it. But no, I don't think people who are into BDSM, women in particular, are mentally ill at any higher rates than the rest of the population. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a little kink. Cool. Fine. Everyone have their fun, as long as nobody's getting hurt. That's cool. And yeah, I guess, I mean, speaking empirically, I didn't, aside from the dominatrix chick I was dating, I didn't know she was there. She may not have even been into it now that I think of it. Maybe she just did it because she got paid. I never thought about that. Having largely not dated bondage girls, the non-bondage girls were just as fucked in the head as the bondage girls. I mean, it wasn't this this sea of mental stability and empiricism and good choices and logic and reason and evidence. It was a shit show. And the girls that did slash, I have no proof. Multiple times my tires got slashed. Yeah, these girls were not bondage. They were, well, no, they were both California girls. Never date a girl from California. Never. So there you go. Lord Azul, two Canadian BDSM ladies are terrible at basic communication. How can they? I don't, not that I'm calling you a liar, but how is that possible? You have to be clear at communication. You have to. Or is that part of the mystique? Men just figure it out, which that game I'm done with. Jesse Reeves, $5 moving out of New Orleans to Florida. Lived there all my life. Horrible city to live finally. Good for you, Jesse. I was not all that impressed with New Orleans. I didn't hate it. Oh yeah, 1985, $10. I've been in the lifestyle for quite some time. Okay, we have an expert here. So I believe it's subconscious for women to want to enjoy and be dominated due to historical, evolutionary, and psychology. Yeah, like there's been enough track record. Like, why do women like tall jack guys? I mean, think about we kind of intuitively know why, but just stop. Why a 6'2" guy as opposed to a 5'2" guy? Well, you got to go back to evolutionary times past. That guy would protect her, take care of the kids, pass on the genes, etc., etc. He could have been terribly violent. Could have been very not friendly to his wife. He may not even be married. Right? His sperm crossed the finish line. And so women like taller guys. That's just how it is. And I'd imagine, old caveman days, club you over the head and drag you back to the cave. You do that for a couple tens of thousands of years. That might be part of your program. Why do I like girls with big boobs? Well, because it indicated they had big boobs for milk for the kids that you might have in the very future. But you have to go back. Well, okay, what the thin boobed girls? Well, what? That's interesting. What did small boob girls do back in the day? I guess men still had sex with them anyway, and you still got milk for the kids, I gotta imagine, unless there's something wrong with you. Yeah, I don't know, maybe we just like big boobs. How simple is and some girls like to. And to Lord Azul's point, I don't know how that works then. The girls will never tell you what they want. They're deep down inside what they want. And obviously, what was it? Billionaire prawn for girls, 50 Shades of Grey. Obviously, there is real demand for that. And girls are obviously not going to tell men that because it's the fun game. You just get to figure out, like, nope. But maybe the BDSM guys are into it. Maybe they know, oh, yeah, you unlock the lock this way, and they really like it that way. And we understand. And it's taken us 30 years to figure this all out. And they're like, yeah. Hogan's Heroes is on. That's going to seem like a lot less pain. And even you. Oh, yeah, you put I don't know. They just do. All right, there you go. Girls, at any point in time, you could tell guys what you wanted, and then it'd be a lot easier. But then it's not fun. Huh? I guess we're going to play 20 questions till we're all dead. See you guys later, Toodles.